he comes, here he comes. There's the trumpets, there's the drums, here he comes. Hopalong, Cassidy, here he comes.
In this film, the first installment of the long-running Hopalong Cassidy series, Bill Cassidy returns to the Bar 20 only to find that a range war is brewing between his own beloved ranch, run by Charles Middleton's Buck Peters, and the newly arrived Meekers.
My foreman takes his orders from me and from nobody else. Make it easy on yourself, neighbor.
It turns out that Meeker's foreman, played by Kenneth Thompson, is working with a gang of rustlers to secretly ferment this conflict so that he can steal and sell both men's cattle for himself.
Well, how do you figure getting rid of the cows?
I've got connections with a railroad construction camp. They'll buy, and no questions asked.
Meanwhile, the Bar 20's newest hand, Johnny Nelson, played by James Ellison, has fallen for Meeker's daughter, Mary, played by Paula Stone.
Last night.
I can soon put them straight.
No, you mustn't. Besides, we're going to have a party.
Well, I sure like parties.
Cassidy takes the headstrong Nelson under his wing, and the two become good friends by the end of the picture.
That just about makes us even, Mr. Cassidy.
You're all right, kid.
Ellison had grown up on a ranch in Montana, and feels right at home as a cowboy. Though he had been acting in movies since 1932, Johnny Nelson was his first major role, and he plays the part well, providing a temperamental contrast to Boyd's cool, easygoing personality.
It's all right, son. No thanks needed. Maybe someday you can back up my play.
I'll be looking for that chance.
Being a younger and a fairly attractive bloke, he was also able to provide the series with a romantic lead, something the older Boyd shied away from.
They're mighty pretty, ain't they?
The following year, he was given another big break when he was cast as Buffalo Bill in Cecil B. DeMille's The Plainsman, alongside Gary Cooper.
See you in Deadwood. We'll settle it there. Now, say.
With his rise to stardom seemingly assured, some predicted that Ellison would be the next Gary Cooper, but it was not to be. DeMille hated Ellison's performance, and he made sure he was never cast in such a good role again. After leaving the Hoppy series, he continued to appear in B pictures, sometimes as the lead, and also got smaller roles in A pictures.
You like it, Uncle Ben?
This film features George Hayes in a prominent role as Bill's good friend, Uncle Ben. Better known as Gabby Hayes, the actor was a staple of the B-Western genre, appearing frequently as a sidekick not only of Hopalong Cassidy, but also of John Wayne, Gene Autry, Wild Bill Elliott, Randolph Scott, and, of course, Roy Rogers. Despite being associated so closely with the Western genre, Hayes was not himself a Westerner, but was born in Stannards, New York, and spent much of his early life performing on vaudeville before being discovered by producer Trim Kerr and moving to Hollywood.
Let's go to Meeker's and give him a little gun medicine.
Uncle Ben was his first major role, and, despite being killed in the third act, Hayes would return for 13 more Cassidy movies. Eventually being renamed Windy Halliday, he would replace Frank Muglin Jr. as the third member of the Bar 20 trio.
Tomcat, you better take Lucky off Moat, Hoppy, and turn him out to grass.
After a short departure, Hayes would again return for another 8 pictures before being replaced by Burt Wood's Speedy McGinnis. Produced, like all early Cassidy pictures, by Harry Sherman, this film was directed by Howard Bretherton, who handles the action really well.
I've even got a good brand figured out.
You got some right smart ideas, Jack.
The occasionally obtrusive editing definitely marks this as an independent feature, but it's still pretty impressive overall. Archie Stout, who shot the first 10 Cassidy movies, provides some magnificent outdoor cinematography.
Them looking for the rustlers' hideout for a week?
It's a darker film than a lot of the other B-Westerns produced around this time, especially the scene where the villain, Pecos, shoots Uncle Ben in the back. Pecos' own off-screen death is also rather grisly.
That's what it says in the book. Whatever measure you give out, that same measure shall be given out to you.
Decked out in his distinctive blue costume and silver hair, Boyd is an absolute revelation as Bill Cassidy.
We're just warning them.
His patronly attitude and infectious laugh immediately endear him to the audience.
Well, I'm waiting.
You and your skulking ambushes.
You got a lot of wrong ideas, Meeker.
He also has great chemistry with Ellison, McGlynn, and of course, Gabby.
What are you doing, old lady?
Hey, what are you doing out of bed? I'll tell you when you can get up.
His introduction, riding down a cliff to save Ellison from Meeker's foreman, is brilliantly conceived.
Up high.
This film also comes up with a new explanation for his nickname of Hopalong when Cassidy is injured in the leg.
I can hop along by myself. Oh, Hopalong Cassidy, that's me.
His limping around and using a cane, however, would not last past this first installment.